Hello everybody, welcome to another video from our series of videos on grammar lessons. In this lesson we are going to learn passive sentences. You know, the passive sentences are very important in IELTS because they can help you to paraphrase sentences and give you a better opportunity to produce a variety of sentence structures. You know that variety in the production of sentences is highly important in IELTS, and it can bring you a better score in IELTS. So we're going to learn this. The thing is that I've tried to make it very simple for you, so this can be understood even by lower intermediate students. But if you want to improve, and if you want to learn this lesson at a very high level, then you need to practice more. I am going to introduce a reference at the end of the video, then watch to the end of the video and see what book is a better choice for you to learn and to improve your grammar knowledge for IELTS. Passive sentences are used to focus on action being done rather than the person or the thing doing the action. In a passive sentence, the subject receives the action of the verb. Passive sentences are formed using a form of the verb to be followed by the past participle of the main verbs. It means that in all of the passive sentences, we should have be. Now, the different forms of be can change in different tenses. For example, it could be is, am, are in the simple present tense, was, were in the past tense, will be in the future tense, and has been or have been in the present perfect tense, had been in the past perfect tense, and like this. We're going to focus on all of them and talk about them in details. Now, the first tense that we are going to discuss is the present simple tense. Present simple is one of those tenses that we use more than any tense in our life, because when we are talking about our daily activities or routine activities and schedule, we usually use present simple tense. For example, when I say that I get up early in the morning, I go to work, then after work I usually go to the restaurant, things like that. Now, how do we do that in the passive form? So let's see an example. For example, we say in the active form of the tense of the sentence, we say they deliver the mail every day. They is the subject of the sentence, but when we make it passive, then we say mail is delivered every day. Is delivered. Mail is delivered every day. So you see that is delivered is the verb form of the passive tense in the present simple, and mail is replaced. Mail comes to the place of they. Here it's not important for us who delivered the mail. What is important is that the mail is delivered. So is delivered is the form of the verb in the passive tense. Another example is, for example, the sun rises in the east. Then the passive form, what's the passive form of that? The sun rises in the east. The east is where the sun rises. So you see that you've got a lot of possibilities and to make passive sentences. The sun rises in the east. You might think that, okay, this doesn't have any passive form, but why not? You can think about it and say the east is where the sun rises. There are lots of more examples that you can see in the texts that you're reading. Very simply, then the next one is present continuous passive. So what is present continuous tense? Basically, present continuous tense is when we are talking about what we are doing at the moment of speaking. For example, what am I doing now? I'm teaching grammar. What are you doing now? You're listening to the teacher, or you are practicing English grammar. Then you are practicing, I am teaching. These are all present continuous tense, but in the active form. Now, we're going to see what the structure of the passive tense is. When you say, for example, grammar is being taught. Then we don't care who's teaching the grammar, but we say that what is happening now? At the moment, grammar is being taught. So is being taught is the form of the verb. Let's see some examples. She's cooking dinner right now. The passive form is dinner is being cooked. Is being cooked. That's the form of the verb. Is being cooked right now. Another example is they are building a new hospital. They are building a new hospital. So we don't care who is building the hospital. What is important here is what's happening. A hospital is being built. A hospital is being built. I'm going to tell you that what is important to know in the production of passive sentences is the third part of the verbs. For example, when you say build, then what's the past form of build? It's build. What's the third form of the verb? It's built. Again, build, built, built. So you have to learn the irregular verbs, and the regular ones we add ed in the passive form also. Now, another tense is past simple. So you know past simple in English is when we talk about something that happened in a particular time in the past. For example, I say, yesterday I went to the museum. So when did I go to the museum? Yesterday. It's simple past. Now, what's the form in the passive? In a passive, we say, for example, she wrote the letter yesterday. This is the simple form. This is the simple past. But when we convert it into passive, we say the letter was written. See, you see that here again we've got a be or be verb like was, because it is past, then it becomes was. The letter was written yesterday. Was written. You remember that in the simple present we said that the letter is written every day, for example, but here we say the letter was written. It's that simple, you see. Just verb to be, then the third part of the verb forms the core and the central point of the sentence. The letter was written. The door was opened. The room was cleaned. And lots of other examples that you can make. Okay. Now, in this short break time, I'm going to remind you that it would be very good for us if you subscribe our channel. Then we are going to have more videos on grammar lessons, on vocabulary, and on writing and listening, speaking, everything. I mean, all of the skills in IELTS are going to be presented here in these lessons. So I hope that you will subscribe, you'll support us, and let us know your feedbacks and comments about our presentations. Now, the next tense that we are going to talk about is past continuous. You know, past continuous, in the active form is like when you say that I was watching TV. You're talking about something that happened in the past, but in a continuous form. For example, I was watching TV when you called me. So what was I doing? I was watching TV. Now, in the past form, if you remember, in the present continuous, we said that they are building hospitals. Hospitals are being built. But here we say they were building hospitals. So hospitals were being built. That's so easy. You see, The example, they were cleaning the house all day yesterday. They were cleaning the house all day yesterday. The house was being cleaned all day yesterday. And the form of the verb, you can see that it was being cleaned. And if it is plural, then we say the houses were being cleaned. So it's that simple. By just producing more examples, you can learn this, internalize it, use it in your production automatically. So he was, another example, he was painting the walls when I arrived. He was painting the walls when I arrived. The walls were being painted when I arrived. You see that all of the sentences in the past continuous form will be to be, was, or were, plus being, plus the third part of the verb, which is cleaned, built, or any other verbs. Okay, now we're going to talk about past perfect passive. Past perfect is something that happened before another action in the past. So the example is, she had already finished the book by the time I started reading it. Had finished is passive. Then this, the had finished is past perfect, which is active here. But the passive form is the book had already been finished. You see that again, we have got be form in this sentence, but because it's past perfect, it is in the third form of that, which is been finished. The book had already been finished by the time I started reading it, or the class had already finished when I got there. Or another example is, they had repaired the car before I got there. So the passive form is, the car had been repaired before I got there. There are lots of other examples, and you can also follow this structure and make more examples. And the next tense, which we're going to talk about, is future simple passive. Then what is future? The main form of future here that we are going to discuss is made by using will. For example, they will start another building in the street. So they will start means in the future they will make another building. Okay, will plus main verb. Now the example is for the passive, they will deliver the package tomorrow. They will deliver. This is the active form of the sentence, but if you want to change it into passive, then we say the package will be delivered tomorrow. The package will be delivered tomorrow. The form is will be delivered. Again, in the future, we've got a form of be in the sentence. So you will see that will be delivered. Another example is, she will write the report next week. The passive form is, the report will be written next week. From the beginning until here, we have tried to focus on the main tenses of English in both the active and passive form. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, in fact, these, the passive tense, passive form of the structures can help you, at least it can help you understand more complicated structures. That's one point. Another one is that you can produce a variety of structures. When you're paraphrasing the sentences in IELTS, for example, in writing, you're going to paraphrase the task which is given in the task 1 academic or any other parts of the IELTS test. Then one of the choices that you have for paraphrasing is passive tense. We're going to have videos on paraphrasing, separate and individual videos on paraphrasing, because it's one of the important techniques in IELTS, which can help you in different cases. I mean, in reading comprehension, in listening comprehension, and also in the productive skills like writing and speaking. The One of the references that has been used here for this video is Grammar for IELTS, Cambridge Grammar for IELTS, which is one of those books that you can refer to for your IELTS practice and preparation. This is a very good reference for those of you who are going to take an IELTS exam, because all of the activities and all of the exercises and practices are just designed in a way that they can help you for the IELTS, and there are lots of samples from IELTS test that you can trust. Thank you for following us. Thank you for the time, and do not forget, please, to subscribe to see all of the other videos which are going to be published very soon. Then in the videos we are going to focus on different things, but the main focus will be on IELTS and anything that you need for IELTS exam to get a better score. Thank you.